Critical Role's final battle begins. Mass Effect is getting a TV show on Amazon, and a major rival to Warhammer 40k passes the $2 million mark on Kickstarter.
Hot damn!
Welcome to Fantasy News Friday on the Character Sheet, where we break down the biggest fantasy and TTRPG stories of the week. As always, we'd really appreciate it if you took a second to hit those like and subscribe buttons to help us keep this channel going. And now, let's dive into the week's biggest stories.
News team, assemble!
The final battle has begun on Critical Role as the cast returned as Vox Machina and begin their assault on the Hellcatch Valley. But before Vox Machina left for battle, we found out that with the exception of letting Predathos possibly eat the Matron of Ravens, who no one on the team has any real love for at this point, the whole team seemed to be pretty on board with Team Save the Gods, which means we could have less of an Avengers Assemble moment at the end of Campaign 3 and more of a Battle Royale. And we also got to see Scanlan just refuse to undo his Centaur polymorph, despite it being a huge liability in basically everything he tried to do this episode, including a potential booty call with Pike that just got completely shut down. We also saw Liam return as the ever-creepy and delightful Lief Tell, who apparently is already aware that Bertrand Bell, her one-time lover, has died, which means everyone everywhere has been informed of every major death in this series, except Frida being told about FCG at this point. Seriously, at some point, someone really has to do that. We also found out after Vex revealed she was keeping an extremely old trinket inside her pendant to extend his lifespan as long as possible, that Percy was probably going to wind up sharing that fate one day as well.
I keep him in the locket as long as possible because it's helping extend his life.
What?
She's phenomenal at letting go.
Goodness.
I'm going to end up in there. Don't think I don't know that.
Don't think I haven't thought about it.
I'm well aware you've thought about it.
Right before the team took off on an airship assault to the Hellcatch Valley, and hey, when has an airship ride ever gone poorly in Campaign 3? We found out that Chetney dodged a bullet, as Travis made a joke and rolled for Grog to die in the night the way he does for Chetney, and he actually rolled a 100, which would have been the death of Chetney.
I'm Grog, but those were the dice.
He could have died.
That would have been it. No!
Oh my god!
No! I'm Grog, though. This just happened.
Once Vox Machina finally began their assault, which in typical Campaign 3 fashion included a botched airship rescue and landing well short of the actual Malleus Key, they began to fight the forces of Ludinus on the amazingly detailed and huge battle map set up by Matt. Vox got a surprising helping hand from a powered-up Opal, who showed up to fight for the gods as the Avatar of Loth, and who actually stole the episode's How Do You Want to Do This from the Vox Machina crew, along with almost dying herself, all while piloted by Matt Mercer. Grog was also an absolute menace with his, I think at one point, over 300 hit points at the start of the battle, and his Blood Axe regaining temporary hit points every kill. He went on an absolute rampage. But the battle ended with the promise of one more Vox Machina episode, as the gang was finally ready to move on and assault the Malleus Key itself. So expect a ton of fighting when Critical Role returns next week.
That's my secret. I'm always raging.
The Cosmere RPG team gave fans a big update now that their pre-orders are live outside of the Kickstarter campaign, and they've let fans know that just because their record-breaking crowdfunding is over, doesn't mean they haven't been hard at work. The Cosmere RPG, which raked in over $15 million on Kickstarter, features both the Stormlight RPG setting and the Mistborn RPG setting. And apparently the Stormlight RPG setting has undergone some changes, as the author of the Stormlight Archives himself, Brandon Sanderson, has apparently turned in his final notes for both the Stormlight Handbook and the World Guide. So now that the author has had his final say on the Stormlight RPG side of things, those books are both now in the final stages of layout, and appear to be on time for that 2025 delivery to Cosmere RPG backers.
Can't wait!
Warhammer 40k Darktide is finally getting a PS5 port, 2 years after it initially launched on Steam, and a year after it hit the new Xbox consoles. On December 3rd, Warhammer fans will finally get the chance to play the game on PS5, with some major improvements being added to the co-op shooter. PS5 owners can look forward to a Darktide with 60 frames per second at 4K resolution on the new PS5 Pro, or 30 frames per second at 4K resolution on a regular old PS5. The game also includes all the fixes and additions made to the game since its rocky launch in 2022, including new difficulty levels and a tiered progression system for max level characters. So if you love some grimdark in your co-op shooters, check out Warhammer Darktide on PS5 next month.
For the Emperor!
Speaking of Warhammer 40k, one of their newest rivals, Trench Crusade, just shot past the $2 million mark on Kickstarter this week, with a few days left to go in its crowdfunding campaign. The new tabletop game, which was designed by several ex-Warhammer 40k and Games Workshop devs, features that same grimdark aesthetic and is clearly targeted at winning over those 40k players to this new system. The setting, which is an alternate timeline World War I where humanity has been at war with demonic forces unleashed by rogue Templars way back during the Crusades, features models that have that classic 40k Gothic gone grimdark look to them, and have some truly spectacular details. And with a more streamlined combat system based on 2d6 instead of rolling potentially buckets of d6s for every unit, it seems that a lot of the Warhammer fans are prepared to give this game a try now that the Kickstarter has blown by the $2 million mark. The game also includes STL options for those looking to 3D print their own army, so we'll be excited to see how the game fares once it starts hitting tables in 2025.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Blades in the Dark is finally getting its first official expansion, Blades in the Dark Deep Cuts, which adds over 20 new factions and 100 heritage and background options to the hit heist-based RPG. It also includes 13 new innovations to represent the increase in technology and passage of time in the popular Blades in the Dark setting. In addition to merely adding new toys and options to the game, the second part of the expansion adds rules revisions, including rules to make harm and trauma more impactful to characters, ways of modifying the advancement rate of characters, and an overhauled action system to help streamline some of the combat mechanics and speed up the pace of play. If that all sounds like something you want to check out, you can download the new 118-page Deep Cuts expansion right now for just $10, or get it and the core rulebook together for just $27, as their Blades in the Dark collection bundle is now live on itch.io.
Good news, everyone!
And finally, the incredibly beloved Mass Effect game series is getting its own Amazon show, joining the ranks of other hit video game-based Prime Video shows like the recent Fallout series. According to Variety, the new Mass Effect streaming series will be helmed by the team of Daniel Casey as the head writer and co-executive producer, alongside Karim Zreik. Casey is best known for his work writing the screenplay of F9, The Fast Saga, and his rewrites on 10 Cloverfield Lane. And Zreik worked under Jeff Loeb at the now disbanded Marvel television unit as an executive producer for hit shows like Daredevil and The Punisher. So the team seems to be in place for another great Amazon video game adaptation. No word yet on plot details, so we don't know if this will follow Commander Shepard or take the Fallout TV series route and just explore the universe of Mass Effect with a brand new character as the focus, but either way, we'll be keeping you updated on this massive new project as more details pop up in the next few months. So that's all we have this week for Fantasy News Friday. Let us know what your favorite story was in the comment section, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.